Merhaba arkadaşlar. Bu haftaki konumuz da ilginç bir konu kısa öykülerde. James Turnbull diye bir yazar var. Bu yazarın da tıpkı bir önceki hafta işlediğimiz crime konusunda bir kısa öyküsü mevcut. Bu arada umarım videolarımı izliyorsunuzdur. Çünkü videolarım arasında bazen ipuçları, anlatımlarda da bulunuyorum. Ve her zaman söylediğim bir şey var. Şu koronavirüs illeti diyelim artık dünyadan ve ülkemizden tamamen kalktığı vakit YÖK'ün yeni döneme kadar Eylül ayına kadar finalleri yapma düşüncesi mevcut. Yani sizleri fakültelere, üniversitelere çağırması söz konusu. Şu an için tabii herhangi bir şey söz konusu değil ama her zaman hazırlıklı olmanızı, bütün dersleriniz için hazırlıklı olmanızı tavsiye ediyorum sizlere. Bu açıdan konularımız daha da artıyor. Bütün dersleriniz için konuşuyorum. Bu artışlar neticesinde de fazla bir sıkıntıya girmemeniz için böylesi kısa uyarılarda bulunuyorum sizlere. Şimdi önce hep yaptığımız gibi yazar konusunda da bir konuşalım. James Turnbull. He was born in Columbus, Ohio, in the central part of the United States. He worked as a newspaperman in Columbus, Paris, and New York, and then joined the staff of the American magazine, The New Yorker. Over the years, The New Yorker has become associated with good literary style and high-quality writing. Many of Turber's now famous short stories, including The Catbird Seed ki göreceğiz birazdan, were first published there. Turber's humor is unique. Typically, his stories deal with the battle between the sexes, an apparently unequal fight between strong, dominating women and quiet, modest little men. Apart from his stories, Turber is also well known for his cartoons and essays. A useful collection of his work is the Turber Carnival. The story is about Irving Martin, who has been with F&S, the Fitzweiler and Schlosser Company, for over 20 years. During that time, his work has been praised by everyone. Then one day, Mrs. Algin Burroughs arrived. Now I go on with the short story. The Catbird Seed. Mr. Martin bought the pack of Camel cigarettes on Monday night in the most crowded cigar store on Broadway. It was theater time, and 7 or 8 men were buying cigarettes. The clerk didn't even glance at Mr. Martin, who put the pack in his overcoat pocket and went out. If any of the staff at F&S had seen him buy the cigarettes, they would have been astonished, for it was generally known that Mr. Martin didn't smoke and never had. So the strange thing happens here. Why did he buy cigarettes? No one saw him. It was just a week to the day since Mr. Martin had decided to rub out Mrs. Algin Burroughs. The term rub out pleased him because it suggested nothing more than the correction of an error. In this case, an error of Mr. Fitzweiler. Mr. Martin had spent each night of the past week working out his plan and examining it. As he walked home now, he went over it again. For the 100th time, he resented the element of imprecision, the margin of guesswork that entered into the business. So pay attention to this sentence. The project as he had worked it out was casual and bold. The risks were considerable. Something might go wrong anywhere along the line. Dolayısıyla son derece dikkat etmesi gereken bir bölümde çalışıyor kendisi. Something might go wrong anywhere along the line, and therein lay the cunning of his scheme. So no one would ever see in it the cautious, painstaking hand of Irving Martin, head of the filing department at F&S, of whom Mr. Fitzweiler had once said, "Man is fallible, but Martin isn't." So pay attention to that word fallible. That makes Martin quite different from the other one, the officer, the workers there. No one would see his hand, that is, unless it were caught in the act. Sitting in his apartment, drinking a glass of milk, Mr. Martin reviewed his case against Mrs. Algen Barrows, as he had every night for 7 nights. He began at the beginning. Her quaking voice and braying laugh had first profaned the halls of F&S on March the 7th, 1941. Mr. Martin had a head for dates. Old Roberts, the personal chief, had introduced her as the newly appointed special advisor to the president of the firm, Mr. Fitzweiler. The woman had appalled Mr. Martin instantly, but he hadn't shown it. He had given her his dry hand, a look of studious concentration, and a faint smile. "Well," she had said, looking at the papers on his desk, "are you lifting the ox cart out of the ditch?" As Mr. Martin recalled that moment over his milk, he squirmed slightly. He must keep his mind on her crimes as a special adviser, not on her peculiarities as a personality. This he found difficult to do, in spite of entering an objection and sustaining it. The faults of the woman as a woman kept chattering on in his mind like an unruly witness. She had for almost 2 years now baited him in the hands, in the elevator, even in his office, into which she roamed, now and then like a circus horse. She was constantly shouting these silly questions at him. "Are you lifting your ox cart out of the ditch? Are you tearing up the pea patch? Are you hollowing down the rain barrel? Are you scraping around the bottom of the pickle barrel? Are you sitting in the catbird seat?" It was Joy Hart, one of Mr. Martin's 2 assistants, whom had explained what the gibberish meant. "She must be a Dodger fan," he had said. "Red Barber announces the Dodger games over the radio and he uses those expressions. Pick them up down south." Joy had gone on to explain one or two. Tearing up the pea patch meant going on a rampage. Sitting in the catbird seat meant sitting pretty like a batter with 3 balls and no strikes on him.